Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading. And I have to say, the Harkle universe is really very strange. I did my Netflix reading yesterday, Netflix on the Crown, and their concerns about it. They were a bit spooked. It didn't look like it was going to end well for Netflix. I thought, well, I'm done with Netflix for a while. Oh no. This morning I woke up to the news that people are saying that the Netflix people are so rattled about the blowback that they're getting about The Crown, season 5 of The Crown, that they have decided to postpone the Harkle documentary, the wonderful documentary, the romance, the love story, the humanitarians, the charitable work. We're not quite sure what that documentary is. Nobody can quite find out, but they have decided to postpone it until next year. It was going to be released in tandem with The Crown, the next season of The Crown, but no, it is not. So that's the story that I woke up to this morning. And the story has now changed in the space of not even a day. And so I have gone through the various twists and turns as far as I can remember them. First of all, about this Harkle documentary. First thing we heard recently was that it was too dull. Netflix was concerned that the footage the content the Harkles had provided was just too dull. Then we heard that the Harkles were in a panic about the content they had produced, in which they seemed to slag off Charles, Camilla, William and Catherine. They now want to walk that back. They were desperately trying to negotiate with Netflix to do some substantial edits to the documentary after the Queen's passing, when it dawned on the Harkles that actually they were the unpopular ones and everyone else in the royal family was really popular. So they were trying to walk back all the terrible things that they had said. Then we heard that there were serious contradictions between what Harry was saying on the Netflix cameras, as opposed to what was written in his book. That one had me puzzled, scratching my head, because nobody has read the book. And unless the ghostwriter has provided proofs to Netflix, I can't quite figure that one out. How do the people at Netflix know that there are major differences in storylines between what Harry has told them and what he's told the ghostwriter? So that was a weird one. Then, of course, waking up this morning to the news that it's been postponed. That was on Deadline, which seems to be an industry magazine or website, I'm not sure. But that was the source for that. Everyone was saying, okay, well, can understand Netflix in a panic. Maybe it's been postponed. Maybe we'll never see this documentary. But then later, quite recently, a few hours ago, Page 6 has come out and said, actually, the documentary will air in December after all. No hesitation, no postponement, nothing going on there. What on earth is going on? It sounds like, it sounds like maybe the Harkles are briefing on one side and Netflix is briefing on the other side. It could also be just drumming up enthusiasm for this ludicrous snooze fest. I have to get on the floor now and pick up cards. My shrunken space, I have even less space at the moment to shuffle, and I forgot to tell you that I am using the Crow Tarot for this, because the Crow Tarot is a pretty good gossipy tarot when things are being chatted about in the media, social media and the press, because of course the press, the Daily Mail is on it, Richard Eden is on it saying what on earth is going on. One minute it's been postponed, this documentary, and the next minute, it's airing as promised in December, and really, what? So I'm going to do a Celtic cross. I'm going to do it from Netflix's point of view, as I did the reading on The Crown yesterday, and we're going to look and see what is going on. We're going to ask what problems they might be facing, what's going on behind the scenes. Are there re-edits? Is there postponement? Is there concern? How things might have changed, how things were before the Queen passed to what's going on now. Next steps, how they view the Harkles and the content that they've provided. All of that, hopes and fears and outcome. And the outcome is a yes, no. Are we going to ever see this documentary? Whether we see it in December or we see it next year, are we going to see this thing? whatever universe wants to tell us as an outcome. And it tells me I need to do some of these shuffles, which I don't often have to do on camera. I always do them before, and one more. And that was the Nine of Swords that peeked out at me there. But that and one more just for luck, and it's come back again. It's telling me, look at me, Nine of Swords. I'm shuffling it back in. It's popped out twice now, and away it goes back into the deck. And if it pops out again, it will be quite miraculous, but we'll see what happens. And what is going on with this Netflix thing? Really, I wouldn't like to be an executive at Netflix for all the money and in the world and all the power and all the glory and all the rest of it, having to deal with Harry and Meghan. And let's remind you at this point that this is a tarot reading, just for entertainment purposes. It is all just my opinion. There is a disclaimer in the box below, please read it, and then we can all make our own conclusions about everything. And I do apologize for not being able to fit the cards in properly, but anyway, here we get the Knight of Cups as the underlying energy, and that is emotions, wooing, trying to persuade. The Knight of Cups comes along with this cup of love and offers it, and he's quite seductive and he's quite charming and emotional, and come on, fall for me. He says, fall for me. So perhaps we are being manipulated with all of these stories. It's boring. They're in a panic. It contradicts the book. Is this Rachel with her Hotmail account? Sending out these various stories to seduce us and persuade us and lure us in? I think we might have some energy of that in this reading, just warning us that we are being played. So let's see, the situation from Netflix's point of view, the heart of the business, and we get the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. That's not good. That is investments that have brought nothing to them. Waste of money, waste of effort, no dividends, no returns. Taking stock, the Seven of Pentacles, looking at your harvest, looking at what you have brought in with your efforts, your industry, your resources. And when the card is in reverse, big money lost. The advance, whatever millions they paid the Harkles, whatever they were expecting from the Harkles so far, nope. And maybe heads are going to roll because of it, because numbers always count in the end, and it's always the number crunchers, the accountants, who in the end are the ones who get rid of the big ideas people when the big ideas people can't deliver, always. So I'm getting the giggles now. I'm thinking of what's going on in Britain, and it's not funny. And I'm very glad that I'm not a British person right now having that circus going on politically. But anyway, we're dealing with the Harkles today, Netflix. So waste of money, no money coming in, lots of money has gone out, all wasted. That camera crew that followed the Harkles around in New York last year on that 4 tour, the camera crew that followed them at the Invictus Games this year, and the rest of it. So let's see, what is the problem? What's crossing this situation? That's bad enough. What are their challenges that they are facing? Six of Pentacles. It's the give and take card, the reciprocity card, the charity card. And of course, the Harkles are supposed to be such humanitarians and all their charitable endeavors, but really there aren't any. Lack of content about charity. That's my finger floating across and waving over there. Lack of content about charity. This is not a quid pro quo. This is not an equal relationship. What they have given to the Harkles is not what they're getting back. 2 money cards. And in a certain amount of indignation, we gave you all this money. We gave you all these resources. We trailed around after you with our crew. And what have you given us? A big headache, seemingly. But we remember here, we are being played to a certain extent, but this does look serious. It does look serious for Netflix, and it looks serious in terms of money wasted and no expectation of getting any money back now. So what's going on behind the scenes? Is there a panic? Re-edit, find new footage, can the thing, Knight of Wands, there's a lot of busyness going on behind the scenes. Creative energy, that is somebody who's dashing about, a creative type and ideas person who's rushing around, trying to put the deal back together. I think there could be crews that are going around and reshooting things or re-editing things. It's busy work, but it's energetic, it's passionate. This is not, oh, this is a terrible calamity, but they're working. They could be traveling. The Knight of Wands is very much a travel card, an international travel card. There could be people who are going overseas. There could be people who are trying to source footage. One of the theories is that so much of the footage belongs, in fact, to the royal family or to the BBC or whoever else, the funeral and all of those things, the Jubilee, that the Harkles actually can't get access to. They're being blocked. So there might be deals, communications, busyness to do with that. And I mean busyness, not business. But it's energetic. It's a little bit frenetic. But this is not a panic. This is not a panic, but it is, they're working on this. They're working on this. They haven't binned it. They haven't said this is such tosh that we're not going to show it and the deal is over. They're trying to salvage something from the wreckage for financial reasons, very clearly. So what is their focus right now? Netflix. Netflix's focus, Page of Swords. It's getting a message out, the Page of Swords. Trying, sitting next to the Knight of Cups, just interestingly, the Page of Swords is a wary energy. It's being on high alert, doing your research, checking, spying, making sure about things before you go any further. It's a cautious card. Can be quite a nasty card too, but it's on high alert. So they are on high alert. They are going through social media. They are looking at newspaper headlines. They have got teams of people out there, poor minions, interns, those kinds of people who thought they were going to get a fun gig at Netflix and going to be making movies. No, you're going to be going around looking at Twitter accounts and Instagram and whatever and seeing what people are saying about this. How much trouble are we in? You need to go and snoop and find out. That's what's going on. They're gathering information, data. So how are things going before, from the Harkle's point of view, that great calamity struck and the royal family suddenly had everybody watching them and everybody in sympathy with them and everybody on their side. How are things going up until last month with this? All good. Three of Cups. Lots to feel happy about. There's a laurel wreath there. There's happiness, contentment, even celebration. Are very confident about it. They thought they had this thing in the bag. They were probably pleased with the Invictus Games footage. They thought, oh well, we'll be going overseas and we'll swagger around and we'll get the One World footage and we'll get a bit of this and a bit of that and the Well Child and all of that. And we're with friends and we're supported and we're feeling the love and everybody loves us and this is going to be great and it's going to re-establish us as humanitarians, as the most popular royals. Very confident they were flying high before. What is coming up next after this mad day today of this and that and yes and no and maybe? What is coming up next? We don't know. In a word, we're in a decision phase. A big decision that has got to be made by Netflix and they are undecided. Remember, this is a reading from Netflix's point of view. Do we or don't we? There is nothing certain about this. There's lots of busyness going on behind the scenes. There's lots of research being done, gathering information so they can make this decision. They're not ready to make this decision yet because it's going to cost them a swear word load of money. Let's say a boatload of money if they decide to bin the thing. Can it? Two of Swords, difficult decision, crossroads. Which way shall we go? Meetings about it. Can't be very comfortable for the Harkles. So how do the Netflix executives feel about the Harkles as content producers? How do they feel about them as people? Whatever universe wants to tell us. How do they feel about it? And we have the Eight of Swords. but the Ace of Swords is in reverse. The Ace of Swords is the card of being trapped, afraid, stuck. It's come out in the reverse. They see that the Harkles are stuck. They've managed to get themselves into a pickle with all this contradiction, with all of this needing to walk things back. The card is in the reverse, in a pickle and trying to get out of it, trying to figure their way out, a Houdini-like escape from an impossible situation with that card in the reverse. Harkles have got themselves into a mess because they have, in my opinion, they have lied, they have been cruel, they have been vicious in the things that they have said. They have perhaps been too smug and too gloating, 3 of Cups over there. And now they have a problem, and now they need to weasel their way out of the problem. The dog is shouting very loudly. He has his own bedroom. He's shouting in his bedroom. He's been for his walk. He's had his dinner, but he's just shouting. So they are seeing that the Harkles are in a pickle, as I say, and are trying desperately to get out of it. It's not a sympathetic card. Don't feel sorry for them. They just simply are observing it in quite an objective way and saying, well, yeah, you made that bed, now you're lying in it, well, now you're trying to get out of it. Good luck with that. What pressure is Netflix under right now? We get the 5 of Cups. Ooh, that is regret. That is massive, massive regret. And the regret is about the mood, the change in mood. They didn't see that coming. We've gone from 3 of Cups gloating and partying and celebrating to the 5 of Cups here, which is the pressure that they're under. And the pressure is the mood that has changed in Britain and elsewhere, not just in Britain. The mood changed everywhere. What we went through last month was a very somber, very sobering, very serious. It made everybody sit and think about service and duty and devotion and dedication and loyalty and all those big things that our celebrity culture doesn't honor and doesn't respect. And oops, because in their grief, in their sorrow, in their mourning, people looked at that. One of my favorite images, favorite is the wrong word, but most haunting images was of Tilda Swinton, who stood in the queue and waiting and did her 12 hours in the queue to go and pay her respects, her homage to the Queen. Whereas some people elbowed their way into the front of the queue who were celebrities. The world changed. Celebrity culture has changed. Celebrity culture is in trouble. I'm getting a lot off this card, as you can tell. But they know that the world has changed and the appetite has changed. And people don't want smug, self-congratulating, lying, treacherous, weak, cowardly, dishonorable people who left, who abandoned a very dedicated monarch and left and went off for the big time, for the lights, the big lights and the big paycheck and all of that. They've got a problem on their hands. So their hopes and fears, Netflix hopes and fears right now. We have the 3 of Wands. They are hoping that this goes well for them. It's a kind of expansion, growth. It's waiting for good things to happen, for your venture to blossom and bear fruit. So they're hoping that all is not lost, that somehow this deal that they've made with the Harkles is going to be okay. It's going to be watched. It's going to be broadcast. It's very much a streaming card, the 3 of Wands, sending stuff out, sending messages, sending media packages out into the universe, into the, they call it, the ether, and hoping that it brings back positive feedback, that people are pleased by it and entertained, and it grows for Netflix. It brings in subscribers and it does all of those things that they intended it to do when they started this whole journey with the Harkles. What is going to happen, the outcome? And the outcome is a yes-no card. Are we going to see this thing? Whether we see it in December or next year, are we going to see this Harkle documentary? How's it going to go? What does the universe want to tell us about that, please? It does look like we are going to see it, the sun. It is going to see the light of day. The sun Very much so. This is not going to disappear. This is not going to be binned and sorry, no documentary. We are going to see it. The sun is literally the illumination card, clarity, light shining on a situation. We're going to see it. And I hate to tell you, but it is looking like it's going to be very successful, the sun card. And I need to clarify that. Why is it going to be so successful? Why is it going to be so luminous and positive and radiant? Because we have all terrible cards here. So why is it going to do so well? Is it going to be doing so well for Netflix, or is it going to be doing so well for the Harkles? This is a Netflix reading, remember. It's going to do well for Netflix. They're going to broadcast it. It's going to do well for them. Let us clarify that and see if it's going to go so well for the Harkles. I will do another reading on that, but I just want to know, because I don't want to end on this note of chagrin, shall we say. So let's see, how's it going to go for the Harkles? It's going to go fabulously well for Netflix. They are going to be very pleased with themselves by the end of it all. But how's it going to go for the Harkles? These are big cards, and that's why I'm struggling to squish them and struggling also to hold them in my hand. How's it going to go for the Harkles, or don't you want to tell us? And we'll have to wait and do another reading on it. I think we're going to have to wait and do another, the card's telling me we don't want to tell you. So we're going to put that away, and we're going to leave this one in suspense. This is a Netflix reading. Remember, we're being played. We're being played, and we're being played quite well and quite cunningly. And they are concerned. They are aware of how the mood has changed in the world with that card. Very, very much. They are making a decision. They are doing their research. Busy behind the scenes. A lot of busyness going on. Doing their research. They will make that decision. We are going to see this documentary. It's going to go very well for Netflix. Does not mean it's going to go very well for the Harkles. I will do a reading on that. A follow-up reading on it tomorrow. Or shall I do it now? Let me think about it. But I will come back as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.